Hello and welcome to the Senior Spotlight. I'm Mary Cordova with Concierge Care Advisors, and today I am with Ash Roy and also Shoko, and really excited to have you guys here with Senior Life. We've had you here with the AI Senior Life for the fall prevention, and today we get to talk about the cognitive test. So excited to have you too. Thank you again for coming to the Senior Spotlight.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I'm sorry we're joining virtually, but nonetheless, it's exciting. I think we've been super happy and super excited and lucky to have you as partners, and look forward to great things going forward.
Absolutely. We're so excited. I know in the past I was so excited to talk about the fall prevention, but also the cognitive test. And for the last couple months, it's like, no, we can't talk about that cognitive test yet. So, really excited to be here with you, Shoko and Ash. Really excited. So, really here to talk about the early detection of memory loss and what that looks like through the gaze of our eyes. So, again, welcome you guys. So excited to have Senior Life and their founder here, Shoko, and also Ash Roy. So, you guys go ahead and take the floor and talk a little bit about what this looks like and the AI piece of it and what we can look forward to in the near future.
Sure, sure. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna just describe I'll probably spend like maybe a minute or two about what our company does,
Yes, perfect.
and then spend about 5 minutes just to kind of make sure everybody's on the same page as it relates to what is actually Alzheimer's, right?
Yeah.
So what's happening from economics point of view, a disease point of view, and what are the solutions to identify the risks early on? And then I'll hand it over to Shoko, who can describe our product, which is going to be released. I guess by the time this podcast go online, it'll be released and trained.
Yep.
So, so we will, and then we're training it globally. Maybe I can show some slides. Is that a good idea? Or can I share my screen?
Yes,
Or you?
absolutely.
Okay. I think somebody needs to
Make you the
turn
host.
on the share. No, turn on the share. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. So the people listening, if you see what are on the video, they are going to show us a little bit about the Senior Life AI cognitive test. And on our website, we also have the fall prevention app as well. But thank you, Ash. We can go ahead and share.
Absolutely. And by the time you release this podcast, we will actually put up a video of, along with it, with the slides and everything, so that people can go back and refer to the videos as well. It's a little bit
Wonderful.
technical.
Yeah.
It's a little bit technical, so
They
so
might they
let
might
me
have to look at it two or three times, huh?
yeah. Hopefully not. Hopefully we're going to explain it in a little bit simpler way. So let's see. Can you see my screen?
Yes, wonderful.
Okay, so let me see if I could put a slideshow on. Okay, so I guess we're recording it on March 3rd, so that's the date here. So we will first, as I said, we'll first describe what our product does. Sorry, I'm going too fast. So we basically have two products now. One is FDA certified. This is an AI assistant that can assess risk of fall using computer vision. And the second product that is just coming out of the gate and being trained is that can assess the risk of Alzheimer's. So we're not diagnosing Alzheimer per se, we're assessing the risk of Alzheimer's pretty early on. And I will explain how that works in a minute. Uh, so the risk of fall that is in the market for about 2 years and is FDA certified is about 6 or 7 modules. And again, I'm not going into details about that here because the focus is here about risk of Alzheimer's and the cognitive decline. So we detect something called aMCI. We will cover that in more depth later. aMCI stands for amnestic mild cognitive impairment. Okay, we'll describe that later. But let me start with first giving a quick idea of what Alzheimer looks like. People are very familiar or at least aware of it, perhaps not aware in terms of numbers. Alzheimer's disease is the single largest cost item to the healthcare in the United States and globally.
Mm-hmm.
7 million people live with AD in the US. Only 8% of the Alzheimer patients actually get diagnosed, and risk doubles every 5 years after you become officially a senior, like
Mm-hmm.
after 65. So you can see the costs are just humongous, and it'll reach almost $1 trillion in 2050. The primary reason is, again, you'll see how the Alzheimer progresses, is once Alzheimer hits you, once it's diagnosed, the decline is just rapid,
Mm-hmm.
and it just takes a lot of money for mitigation, and it costs both the family, the healthcare system, and not to mention the trauma to the family, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so this is kind of how the Alzheimer progresses, right? The yellow line that you see is the healthy brain, right? That's how the healthy brain sort of, slowly, as you get older, right, declines. The cognitive functions decline. But if you are diagnosed with Alzheimer, if you had Alzheimer, decline is rapid. And once the decline happens, you basically go into a state of almost like a mental vegetation, right? So somebody's taking care of you, you've forgotten everything, and you slowly, just fade out of your existence, and it's really sad.
Mm-hmm.
It's really very 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 sad. And what we're trying to do here. So this is how, as I said, the Alzheimer decline is cognitive
Rapid.
functions decline rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
If Alzheimer's diagnosis, you can see here, right, Alzheimer, but the aMCI, or amnestic mild cognitive impairment, appears 10 years, approximately 10 years before
Oh my
Alzheimer's is
gosh.
diagnosed. And if you diagnose Alzheimer's, it's sort of, yeah, it's great, but it's sort of late
Mm-hmm.
because the only
Mm-hmm.
thing you can do is the mitigation.
Yeah.
But if
Symptoms.
you are able to diagnose aMCI, then with therapy, change in lifestyle, you can actually slow down cognitive decline.
Mm-hmm.
So you can push out this this line all the way to from 75 to close to 85. And that's basically what we're trying to do.
Absolutely.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is identify a risk factor really early on, so that with relatively um, relatively easy and relatively uh, cost cheap therapy. You can, including lifestyle, cognitive rehabilitation therapy, and so on. You can dramatically slow down cognitive decline.
And with
Now, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I
Yeah,
just wanted to interject with exercise, brain fitness, your medication on time, those kind of things. You know,
right,
if we can have that with the aMCI and early detection, you know, that Alzheimer's diagnosis may not ever appear as far as, the cognitive decline, because they've already made so many
correct.
changes in
Yes,
advance, right?
because yes, very interesting. But if I can be a little mathematical
Yeah,
about it, if you see where if your Alzheimer onset is close to, let's say, 84, 85, then your natural cognitive decline has also started,
exactly. Exactly.
right?
You
So
pushed it out.
you'll decline, but you would, it's not a big cost and trauma to the family members,
Mm-hmm.
and also to, of course, the health system.
Health system. Yeah.
So yeah. Um, I'm going to go a little bit more technical and say, just look at how is Alzheimer diagnosed today, right? And I try to simplify the buckets here.
Yeah.
So one bucket is called cognitive assessment, and in that assessment, it's basically question and answers, and it's used quite often. It's used by primary care physicians or geriatricians,
Mm-hmm.
and because it's easy. And the biggest one that is used is called MMSE, Mini Mental
Minty
State
mental.
Examination,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there are 30 questions
30.
you answer and
Yeah.
so on. But you can diagnose AD, but they only capture about 8%
Mm-hmm.
in the through MMSE because it's really um, it's in the current context on all the technologies available today, it's fairly crude,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Effective, but very relatively crude. What we are trying to do with computer vision is basically at some point replace MMSE with a much better tool,
Mm-hmm.
but same frictionless approach. In other words, anybody can do it, and Shoko would show it to you how it's done. Uh, but seriously cheap, seriously cost effective,
Mm-hmm.
right? And but we are able to identify the Alzheimer's risk with high sensitivity and high specificity. That means reduce the false positives and false negatives, right?
Yes.
And this is all because not because just our technology. This is uh, decades of clinical research
Data.
that
Mm-hmm.
has proven it.
Mm-hmm.
The correlation between gaze and aMCI, and the correlation between aMCI and Alzheimer's.
Mm.
That's key. There are also just to go further down. So there are also other blood tests available. They are essentially checking for proteins and biomarkers and so on. But they get the levels go up as you get become closer and closer to full blown AD, right? If you're away from full blown AD, we're at the aMCI stage. aMCI is actually relatively healthy
Mm-hmm.
because your brain is healthy,